Um, we've got a few different guys on the team, and we've got some guys healthy that were hurt last year. Matherin's available this year. Bryant's new. There's a few other guys that are new.
The first two rounds, both the Pistons and the Celtics put Robinson on the line potentially a lot. Is that something you could see you got yourself doing?
Stay tuned. Really not sure, but I think you get to the start of a series, anything can be on the table.
Is that something you believe in though? Like, what is your take on kind of that philosophy?
It would depend on the situation, but I'm not going to talk really about strategy here.
Rick, it's been 8 days. Obviously, how are your guys feeling? How do you sense they're feeling coming into that?
Anxious to get started. This is, I think, the 9th day since the last series, so it's a pretty long time. But we've broken it up with a couple of some days off in between. So, but it's it's been a while, and so we're looking forward to getting started.
Rick, I figure you and Tibbs have a pretty long history of coaching against each other. Do you guys have like a friendship or a personal relationship off the court?
Yeah. I have great respect for him. He's a friend, and we go back a long way. At the end of my playing career, I was trying out for the Timberwolves, who were a franchise that was just starting, and at the first free agent camp, he was one of Bill Musselman's assistants, and so that was kind of the first time I got to know him a little bit, and then of course over the years, he's had a great career, amazing impact as an assistant coach for many years, and then he's had high impact as a head coach.
Rick, you said last year after winning Game 7, when you win a Game 7 at the Garden, you make history. Just how much can you take from that series, that experience last year?
This is a different time, this is a different set of circumstances. Things in the past are just that. They're in the past. The world's moving forward at record rates of speed, and so that was a meaningful series. It was a very difficult series. That game was special, but it's over. And we've got to look forward to the challenges of this year, which are many, and and a lot of physical challenges.
Rick, if you look across the four conference finals teams, there's not as much experience as there's been on some of the rosters in the past. As a guy who's been around the block a few times here, what would you say about this block? What would you say about the conference finals for the players who haven't been here yet, and what they should expect?
What do you mean? Like, what would I say to all the players on all 4 teams that haven't been here?
All four. I could even repeat against
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But your guys, and just sort of the insight of a guy who's been around at this level a lot.
Yeah, there are elements to advancing that can only be experienced by experience, by getting out there and getting into it. So every step is an elevated stage. Madison Square Garden is it's one of the ultimate environments to play a game. Whether you're the home team or the road team. And I played for the Knicks for a year, and was part of a team that qualified for the playoffs in the last game of the season by beating Indiana, I think by a point, on the last game of the season at Indiana. And so at that time, Rick Pitino was coaching, and there was stuff going on with the seedings and all that, and 2 or 3 things happened, and all of a sudden we were playing Boston, who we didn't expect would be in the mix. So, and that was the former team that I was on. So we played Boston in that series, and so, I remember the Garden, how it was rocking when I was, a role player on that team, and certainly been in here a number of times as an assistant coach and head coach, and it's great. Same way Gainbridge Fieldhouse is great.
Was there when you look at the 3 matchups that you guys had during the regular season?
Who's
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
When you look at the 3 regular season matchups you had, and then also last year's series, Mitchell Robinson wasn't a part. How, if at all, does he change their defense? Is the look that you guys see from the Knicks? What changes?
Robinson's been very, very impactful for them since he's been back. I mean, he was plus 40-something in the Boston series. And so, that is, he creates possessions. He made free throws in the latter parts of that series. And defensively, he gives them a lot of versatility. His ability to switch on to smaller players is special for a guy his size. And so he's a major factor, a guy we've been talking about a lot.
Was there a significant difference with Siakam from a year ago in far as how comfortable he is here, how comfortable you are, the way you use him?
He's a pretty he's the kind of player that would go to any team at any time and would blend in a matter of days, really. And so that's one thing that makes him special and unique. And so but as certainly more time with a team, more time with a group is always something that is going to increase how comfortable he is and how comfortable his teammates are with him. But he really, since day one that he got here, it was like he'd been here a while.
Rick, Jalen obviously has seen so many defenses, so many different defenders, and finds a way. In the first round it was Thompson, last round it was White and Holiday, this round it's probably going to be Neesmith and Nembhard. Just what makes him such a difficult cover where no matter what you throw at him, he kind of finds a way to get through?
He's a great player, and he's got an indomitable will to attack, to score, to be great within their system, and they're all very tied together. So certainly have our work cut out for us there. I mean, I know he's one of the most productive guys in the playoffs, if not the most, and so he's a very special player and a very difficult player to deal with.
Time for one more.
At the end of last series, Ken said that you guys play like a college team, and you meant that in the most positive way. Just the way you press, kick the ball out, all those kinds of things. Do you agree with that assessment? And how do you build a professional team that can press over 48-minute game, multiple games the way that you guys play?
That's a Kevin Pritchard question. He's the guy that put the team together. But as we've put this group together around Tyrese, we've had to make adjustments to develop a style that was effective for us, and it's a difficult style. It's demanding, physically demanding, takes a tremendous amount of wherewithal as an athlete, and then you got to be super unselfish and you got to be willing to do a lot of hard things. So, look, it's and you got to have a group of guys that have high character and just are willing to do those kinds of things. And we're seeing more of that kind of play throughout the league. And we'll see some of it from New York too in this series.